time.
I'm gonna fight your fucking ass.
You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park.
There's a little snake in the grass.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
No forget these people.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I'm back.
Who the fuck is that guy? Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
I would like to introduce.
Welcome to the MMA for Money Show, episode 93. I am your host, as always, Mike Copenaver, aka Real Mike. You can find me on Twitter at Don't Cope Just Win. I'm joined with the producer of the MMA for Money Show, my good friend T. How you doing, T?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Glad to be here again. Got a nice card this weekend. Excited.
Yeah, nice. I appreciate all 66 of you live watching in the Super Hard Award from our girl Mel B. What's up, Jason Torello, one of the best sports better ever, MMA for Money himself. Jackie Girl from Kansas City. Appreciate you having you here. First off the bat, we're going to be doing a UFC Vegas 28 review, jump into the the Ultimate Fighter that happened yesterday. And then we'll get into a Bellator main and co-main event, and then jump into the UFC 263. We'll have a couple best bets. So I appreciate having you all here. And with that said, UFC Vegas Fight Night, UFC Vegas 28, whatever you want to call it, Rosenstruck versus Sakai. The first fight of the night on the prelims was Claudio Puelles. He fought Jordan Levitt, and Claudio Puelles won a unanimous decision against Jordan Levitt. Pretty much schooled him all around the cage and just dominant grappling control on the ground. Jordan pretty much had nothing to say for it after his big KO viral slam win that he had last time. He fell short to Claudio Puelles. But next up on the card, we had Sean Woodson versus Yusuf Zalal. Sean Woodson edged a split decision. Like I said last week on the podcast, I felt like his range and his boxing would be a little bit too much. Ended up being just a hair too much for a split decision win. Next up was Manon Fiorot. She fought Tabitha Ricci on short notice, and man, poor Tabitha got fed like a little goldfish to a big shark, man. I mean, Manon just absolutely killed her. KO, TKO, punches standing. Round two, it wasn't even fair for the poor gal Ricci. Did you see that one at all, T?
I actually missed that one.
Okay, no worries. And then next up was the biggest controversy of the card for MMA, in my opinion, was Mason Jones fought Alan Patrick, and it ended in a no contest with an accidental eye poke in round two. But dude, if you ask me, Mason Jones was just absolutely handling Alan Patrick. He didn't want any parts of him. Yes, he did get poked for the sake of his side, but I mean, dude, he was going to get absolutely slaughtered by Mason in the end, dude. Mason Jones is like a little Terminator. I love how he walks forward, and it's just mean with his punches, has good takedown defense. Really high on him. T, I know you were really pissed off about that. You had a bet on that. Yeah.
This is when I walked in. I walked in for this fight, and I had Jones ITD. And dude, no, Patrick, they ain't bringing him back, bro. That's some bitch shit. Like, he just copped out, didn't want to take his L. He could have kept fighting.
I hope they bring him back for a rematch, because I really want to see that, because it was I think that Mason Jones would just mince him up. Like I said, I just way too much for him, and just Alan Patrick kind of find like I said, to be fair, he did get poked. I'm not saying he didn't get poked.
No, he did get poked. But
lots of people gotten poked before. They've got
take 2 or 3 minutes, bro. He could have kept fighting. That's my deal. Like,
I
fucked that whole fight up, and it's no contest on Mason Jones. Like, he had him beat, man. He didn't want no more, and that was an excuse to throw the towel in.
Yep. And T's personal bet went down the drain right there, and ended up being, he didn't lose it, but
I didn't lose, but no,
it's just a push. It's not fun. But when you have an easy W, it really hurts. So
I don't like when people quit either, man.
I don't either. We want to see people that die on their shield. I'm sorry to say, we're sick savages. But either way, with that said, next up on the card was Kamala Kirk, who fought Makwan Amerikani. Man, dude, Mr. Finland fell short to Kamala Kirk, and crazy, dude, that the BJJ black belt was able to edge, not even edge to one, unanimous decision. All the 3 judges had it for him. And so, shout out to Kamala Kirk for that. I believe it was a short notice fight even that he took that against Makwan. But next up, we had Muslim Salikov, who fought Francisco Trinaldo. Just like I said last week, I thought Muslim Salikov would be way too much. Ended up winning a 3-round unanimous decision. Beat Francisco Trinaldo, the old man Trinaldo. He's a savage though, bro.
And,
I mean,
Salikov, he got poked in the eye. Did he quit fighting?
he sure got poked in the eye, but he didn't quit and cry like a little girl. But no shout out. I mean, girls are tough, so don't get me twisted on that. But yeah, either way, he literally wanted an easy way out, but the Muslim didn't, and so he ended up fighting the whole 3 rounds and won that unanimous decision versus Francisco. Next up was one that I thought was pretty fishy, where Ilir Latifi I somehow won a split decision versus Tanner Boser. I thought that Tanner won this fight just the edge. I mean, I just didn't see it. But did you care about that one at all, T?
Yeah, it pissed me off too. I took Bozer live in the first round. Latifi was laying on him. I got plus 200 on him.
Yeah.
You know, he came back, whipped his ass in the second round, and
poor
going
T.
into the third, dude, it was minus 2,000 going into the third, and I almost took Latifi plus 1,000 a hedge, and I didn't.
Poor T was in our group chat with a couple buddies on Telegram, and it was just like I just felt so bad for him. He lost the Mason Jones bet that he should have won. He didn't lose it. He should have had some money already up on the bank right there. And then this fight, Bozer, I thought that he won, and he got shorted there as well. And I don't even think it was the last one that T got shitted on.
I wouldn't have bet Bozer normally, but when you give me plus 200 live, you know, like I had to take that. I feel like they robbed me again.
Yeah, either way, it was what it was. But yeah, Ilir Latifi got one on that, and so he pulled one over and won a decision. Wasn't the best victory for him, but he'll take it, especially with that victory money. So next up was Montana De La Rosa doing bad things to the sweetie Arlana Lipski with the body. She did not get treated like a hottie. She got straight beat down. She minced up, elbows cut from on her face on her right and left side. Needed sutures, stitches. It was sad to see Arielani Lipski literally get battered that badly. Round 2 TKO KO ground and pound by Montana De La Rosa, just minced her up. The Queen of Violence, Lipski calls herself. Definitely not. Montana took that crown and she's running with it. So a really good fight. Did you happen to see that one, T?
Yeah, I watched it. That's pretty much the result I thought was going to happen. You know, if De La Rosa got her. But I should have pulled the pick, but I forgot to. But they had Lipski. She posted on her Instagram after she got fucked up pretty bad. She looked horrible after the fight. Black eyes, all cut up.
Yeah, so yeah, it was really bad to see Arlana Lipski get beat down that bad. She should definitely make a fans only, and we'll all support her there. So next up on the card, we had Gregory Rodriguez. He won a unanimous decision versus Dusko Todorovic. Oh man, dude, we both said this big dude on short notice that he could win this fight. Gregory ended up winning a 3-round decision versus Dusko. Dusko just he looked a little gun shy, and it just, it was a good fight though. Don't get me at that. He just looked just didn't have enough volume and just looked a little outsized from Gregory. Gregory was really big in this fight. I can't blame Dusko for losing to him. And, either way, that was Gregory Rodriguez W there. Next up on the card, we had a fight that I more or less cared about.
This fight was awesome, bro.
This fight was so absolute awesome. Treat to watch. If you love UFC and savagery and you don't like people who don't quit and give it their all, next up on the card, we had Santiago Ponzinibbio, the Argentinian, took on Miguel Baeza. And, dude, Santiago, I don't know what kind of enchana or meat they were feeding you over there in Argentina, but you need to come and chip me some because it had some extra special stuff in it because he literally was just throwing volume. And Miguel Baeza too, man. Round 1 was Miguel Baeza's round to me. In my opinion, he looked his best, but Santiago showed the veteranship, the reason why you don't bet against the veterans like that. Super glad that I pulled my original thoughts of betting on Miguel Baeza, not because it would have been the worst decision, but I have the rule. Bet. I have the rule that I don't like betting against a veteran that has gas left. Santiago Ponzinibbio had that on his resume, and so I ended up pulling the bet on Miguel Baeza before the last podcast. So it didn't end up being a bet. We only had one on the card for this card, and that was the next fight on the card. We had Roman Daldiz won a unanimous decision versus Lorano Staropoli. And this was our bet for the MMA for Money show, the only one of the night. We cashed you 1 unit on Roman Daldiz. Pretty much was a wet blanket on Lorano Staropoli. I'm not saying it was the best fight to watch. All I care about is cashing motherfucking bets for you guys. And that's what we did there. Again, we went on a roll here, T and I, and so we've cashed another unit for the MMA for Money show. So for you guys who followed that, you're welcome there. And hopefully we'll just keep on rolling and keep on cashing bets for you guys. And next up on the card, we had the co-main event was Marcin Tybura. He took on Walt Harris. And man, I really love Walt Harris and the story behind him. I guess he doesn't believe in himself as much as we want to believe in him. And so he ended up losing fight versus Marcin Tybura, KO, TKO, ground and pound, round 1. Really sad, man. It's just sad to see Harris just get beat up that badly. Marcin Tybura, though, looked good, man. But it was once again versus Harris, who just didn't seem to be all there. And it was what it was. Next on the card was the final fight of the night, and it was Jairzinho Rozenstruik took on Augusto Sakai. This fight was really interesting. Augusto Sakai had a ton of size, looked super superior just on the scales and then just in height and everything. In the first round, in the very beginnings, Augusto Sakai looked good. He was moving. His defense looked good, and he was keeping out of range. But sure as shit, with 1 second left, literally on the bell, Jairzinho Rozenstruik came through with a big right hand and landed on Augusto Sakai, knocked him to hell like Debo from Friday. And if you don't know, you know that Debo from Friday was a big dude. So, Jairzinho smashed him into the ground.
Killed him. Huh?
Yeah, and so... either way, that was the main event of the night for the UFC Vegas 28. It was all right. Because of Santiago Ponzinibbio, because we cashed the bet on Roman Daldiz, because there were some knockouts towards the end, it was much more entertaining. So it ended up being a decent card after not being so high on it in the beginning of the week. But with that said, I want to move on to the Ultimate Fighter 29 that happened yesterday. It was episode 22. It's Team Ortega versus Team Volkanovski. If you guys don't know, I'm Team Ortega, and Team Ortega won again, went 2-0. There was Mitch Raposo. He took on Ludwig. Sorry, 1 second. Ludwig Shalonian. Ludwig ended up being a little too much for Mitch Raposo. In round 1 of the fight, Raposo looked really good, had really good movement, had his implementing his game plan well, staying out of the range of Ludwig. But round 2 was a different story. Ludwig implemented his game plan, ended up getting a takedown, kind of ended up using his grappling and his world-class wrestling that he has over there in Ukraine. He's also a proud Armenian, and he was just pitching that all show. So shout out to Armenia and Ukraine. I appreciate especially the Armenians over here in California, great people. So Ludwig ended up defeating Mitch Raposo in round with the 3 rounds. They went 3 rounds. After the 2 rounds, they went to a third round that was needed to see who would win. And Ludwig in the third round pretty much repeated round 2, was pretty much a wet blanket jiu-jitsu-wise on Mitch. Mitch just didn't have an answer for him. But Mitch is young. He was 5-0. He's never lost before. He's a pretty good kid, man. He's got a good body on him, muscular-wise and athleticism. I think he was being super hard on himself after the fight, and he's going to take the L loss as they were showing highlights for the next up-and-coming episodes. But it sucks to see, a young kid like that being his own worst enemy after the fight, because he's going to have to stay in there for the Ultimate Fighter for another 3 weeks. And I know personally, my brother told me that the mental battle there in the Ultimate Fighter was pretty much the biggest battles. Pretty much, he said it'd be like being in jail, but you get good food, brought to you. There's no communication with your family. And so it's just, it gets kind of mentally, you can get down on yourself if you have that little chink in your armor. So hopefully Mitch Raposo doesn't get too hard on himself, because he does have a high ceiling in the sense that he's 5-0. He never learned a lesson, and Ludwig was just a little bit more superior of a grappler and believed in himself a little bit more. But with that said, that's 2-0 for Team Ortega, and Volkanovski is not looking good here. After that one. And next up on the card, or next up on the Ultimate Fighter on next episode next week, Newman will face Tresson Gore from Team Ortega. Ryan Newman will face him. He's a really good D1 wrestler, I believe, trained at the
That
Olympic.
looks like it's going to be a good fight, man.
It's going to be a really good one. Like I said, Ryan Newman trained at the Olympic Training Center, also a really good All-American wrestler. So Josan Gore doesn't have as much experience, but this kid is super athletic and super mean, and he's going to come in there to kill. And so it's going to be really fun to watch them throw down next Tuesday. So tune in, and then we'll be on Wednesday to give you the recap of that. So now I'm going to give you a little treat. We're going to do the Bellator main and co-main for the Bellator 260. It's going to be headlined by Douglas Lima versus Yaroslav Armasov. And Paul Daly versus Jason Jackson will be the co-main event. I'm just going to jump into the co-main event. We're going to only do the two of them. I'm going to give you my picks. I believe that Paul Daly, he's going to be a little bit more superior than Jason Jackson. He's got a lot more power than him in the clinch. Jason Jackson, he's got a really good all-around mixed martial arts game. His best bet here is going to either get Paul Daly down on the ground. With Jason Jackson, to me, he doesn't have that world class of wrestling like Paul Daly's already faced before. So I don't think he's going to have the wrestling, and I think he's going to be able to end up get caught possibly by Paul Synthex Daly and get KO'd. So my pick is Paul Daly by KO in the co-main event for the Bellator. And then the main event is my boy Douglas Lima, who I'm super high on, 32-8. He's let's see, 1 second, fighting out of Brazil. 6'1", 33 years old with a 74-inch reach, so 74.5-inch reach. He's coming off a loss, but don't hate on that because it was versus Gegard Mousasi, who he's savagely stepped up to fight, and he's just took an unanimous decision loss to Gegard. And so before that, he beat Rory McDonald, Michael Page, Andre Korshov. And, so I just like Douglas Lima a lot. I really think that he's going to be a little bit too much for the Amasov. Amasov is 25-0. He's never tasted defeat. He's fighting out of Ukraine, born in Ukraine, 27 years old, 5'11", with a 75-inch reach. Like I said, though, 25 wins in a row, never tasted defeat, but he does have a couple decent victories under his belt. Logan Storley, another world-class wrestler over there in Bellator, he beat him by split decision last fight. Mark Lemminger, he beat him, who was 11-1, cut stoppage round 1, and he beat another good wrestler, Ed Ruth, in unanimous decision. So he obviously does not have any wrestling flaw in him at all. If you do like the Amasov, he possibly could have a chance at winning this, but I just don't think so. Douglas Lima, he's got way too much experience and way too much power, and his striking is so diverse. I'm going to be going Douglas Lima to just edge Armasov, probably a decision win because this kid seems to be a thoroughbred and he has some skills under him. I want to say I appreciate all 97 of you guys live. Hello to Justin Williams, Ted Hicks, Lynn. I appreciate you being here and all you guys in the chat. Wouldn't be the MMA for Money show without all our fans. And so with that said, that's the Bellator that's going on this Friday. So if you want to have more MMA in your life, that will be going down on Friday. And so tune on in. With that said, we will be jumping into the UFC 263. Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori 2. And Bo, if you don't know, and if you haven't listened to the show, I'm a huge, huge Adesanya fan, and we'll get into that a little bit later on the show. But first up on the card, we have Carlos Felipe, who's fighting Jake Collier. Carlos Felipe is 10-1. He's 6 foot tall, 26 years old, 75-inch reach. He's coming off 2 wins in a row versus Justin Tafa, a New Zealander who's real tough, and Jorgen De Castro, another kickboxer. And then he lost to Sergey Spivak, who isn't that bad, majority decision. So I think that Carlos Felipe, he's going to have something to say here for Jake Collier. If you go to the Tapology picture of Jake Collier, it is so sad to see his original MMA picture. Like it's like looking at just a beautiful, beautiful flower, and then then like years down the road, there's like no petals. It's just like he's all puffed up. He's just a big old ball. It's so sad to see Jake Collier 12-5, 6'3", though, 78.5-inch reach, 32 years old on a 1-fight win streak. He last fought Gian Vellante. On a unanimous decision, he won, and then he lost to Tom Aspinall right cross in round 1. Tom Aspinall is a savage and a real treat to watch at heavyweight, so we can't really hate on that. Then he won versus Marcel Fortuna. I'm not too high on that, and he lost to Devin Clark before that. So, and that was in 2017 as well. So we're talking about Jake Collier's real spotty. I don't think that he's going to have enough for my boy Carlos Felipe. I'm going for Carlos Felipe by most likely KO, TKO, probably round 1 or 2. Possibly Jake Collier gets gassed and kill him in round 2. So, but I'm going Carlos Felipe for sure, KO, TKO. What do you think about that one, T?
Yeah, I've seen Collier. I've seen him freaking curl up in a ball too many times. So he gets hits hard, and then he falls down and just curls up and takes his L. And it's like you said, he wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one, and he's coming off a win. So I got a pretty good feeling Felipe is going to KO him, and he'll make him turtle up sometime in this fight too, and get the KO. So that's my lean on this fight. I like Felipe.
Nice.
But next up on the card, we'll have Faris Ziam versus Luigi Vendramini. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a good matchup, man. It's two up and comers, and they both seem to have some decent skills. We've seen Ziam's tap before, and Luigi's got a black belt, and I think he's got the advantage on the mat. Zim, he's taller and he's got the reach advantage, but I'm kind of leaning Luigi on this one. I think he's a little bit better overall. But what you think about it, dude?
Yeah, like I said, we got Farazim versus Luigi Vendramini. Farazim is 11-3, fighting out of France, born in France. He's 24 years old, super young, 6'1", 75-inch reach. He's coming off a 1 win. Last fought Jamie Malarkey, who he won a unanimous decision, and then he lost to Don Madge, who's a really good prospect, unanimous decision to Don Madge, and then he won guillotine choke round 3 to Yassine Belhad. Nobody really knows who that is. So that's where his resume stops. And then we jump into Luigi Vendramini, who's 9-1. He's 25 years old, 5'8", with a 73-inch reach, one win. He calls himself the Italian Stallion. He's definitely got that Italian last name, but he's born in Brazil, fighting out of Brazil. His BJJ black belt, like T said, super slick on the ground. His only loss is to EDS, who Eliza dos Santos Zaleski, who's an absolute savage, and we were huge fans of here on the show. He lost by flying knee and punches in round 2. But his last fight, he won versus Jessine Ayari, round 1. So by head kick and punches. I think that the jiu-jitsu of Luigi Vendramini is sick. He even got the back of EDS, which is not, really difficult to do on anyone of that caliber of a fighter. And so I think that he's going to be able to get the back of Fares Raziem, and he's going to be able to end this night with the RNC possible submission. And so next up on the card, we have Chase Hooper, 9-1 versus Steven Peterson. Well, let's see. Firstly, it's Chase Hooper, man. His jiu-jitsu, let's get it. Black belt, BJJ black belt. Awesome, man. It's
He is
great.
a black belt? I thought he was a brown belt.
No, he's a black belt.
Black?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what they say. So, but he's no striking. His striking is nowhere to be found. He's 10-1. He's 6'1", 75.5-inch reach. He's 21 years old though, so I'm not hating on the kid. Like, he's just so young, and his striking is not there. And his wrestling isn't there. It's not, his jiu-jitsu is sick, but he has no wrestling game and he has no striking. And so I don't like that at all for the kid. I think that he's going to get hurt. Steven Peterson, who they call him Ocho, he's 18-9. He's going to be he's 31 years old, 5'10", with a 70-inch reach. He's coming off a win. He's last beat Martin Bravo, spinning back fist round 2, which was sick. And then but before that, lost to Alex Caceres, unanimous decision, and then Luis Penny, unanimous decision. A couple long guys that have striking and have skill. So Chase Hooper doesn't have that, in my opinion. I think at dog money here that Steven Peterson is the right side. I think that I would throw down the money. We were going to think about throwing down the money for him on the show. We have not fired yet, and so if the line gets a little bit better, we possibly will. But I heavily favor Steven Peterson to get a KO, TKO, or a possible unanimous decision win. He's only going to have a reach disadvantage. He's got a striking advantage. He's never been tapped out ever. And with that said, I just like all those fights, 20, 30 fights almost. There's no way that he's going to get tapped out by Chase Hooper. You can mark my words here. We'll talk about it next week. But Steven Peterson should be enough to cash the dog money for you guys if you guys want to bet him. I think that it's a great bet. What do you think, T?
Yeah, I mean, Hooper, he's just got too many holes in his strike, and he walks forward with his chin out, and it's just very inaccurate. Doesn't even really have power at all, so it's pretty bad. And Peterson, he's tough. He could just keep walking forward. The thing about it, neither one of these fighters are great fighters, so that's why we stayed away from it instead of putting a unit. But I'm right with you. I think Peterson is going to get it. I think he's just going to tough it out, and in the experience, he'll be able to get the W.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Richardson in the chat here, one of our sponsors. I appreciate you so much. Kick Your Bass on Twitter.
What's up, Ryan?
Professional fisherman extraordinaire over there in Kansas City. One of the best dudes ever. Thank you so much, Ryan. I hope your family's doing well. Hope you're doing well, my dude. And hope you're catching big fish over there to get those victories in those tournaments, dude. So sorry, T.
Oh, all good. The next fight on the card, I thought it was going to be Frank Camacho versus Matt Favola. On the site, they have it switched. Well, never mind. The picture's wrong. It says Terrence McKinney, but all right, I guess the fight's on. But we got Matt Favola versus Frank Camacho, and I'm glad they didn't switch it, or I hope they haven't, because I think this is going to be a really good fight. I think it's going to be a war. I can't wait to see it, to be honest. I give Frank the power and experience edge. I like his chances in this fight. If they stand in the middle of the octagon and brawl, Favola, he can get the takedowns, but I don't think he can keep Frank down. So I like Frank as a dog here. But what you think about it, man?
It looks like Frank Camacho just withdrew from the fight, and he's been so sorry about that, T. So with that said, we now have a new matchup. It's going to be Matt Favola. It's okay. It's going to be pretty much the same breakdown. So Matt Favola, it's going to be Matt Favola versus Terrence McKinney on short notice. Let's get into Terrence McKinney real fast since you're all twisted up, T. Terrence McKinney's 10-3. He's 26 years old. He's 5'10" with a 74-inch reach. He's fighting out of Chicago, Illinois. No, he's fighting out of Washington, Spokane, Washington. Born out of Chicago, Illinois. So shout out to the Windy City where he was born. 3 wins in a row. So, dude, this kid's got some fire under his belt. So let's get into this. His last fight, he won punches round 1 versus Michael Izari Ortiz. The guy was 12-1, so that's not too bad. Let's see what else we got here. His last fight was Dedrick Sanders. The dude was 3-2. See, this is why we go into the research, because his record starts getting kind of padded there. So he got 2 wins in a row. Then he's got a 3-2. His third win in a row was 3-2. So man, I don't know, man. He's lost before to Derek Minner, who's a former UFC fighter. Sean Woodson, who I believe is another UFC fighter. He's on the Contender Series. Yes, he is. And so we're going to go with Matt Favola here. There's no way that Matt Favola, his wrestling, he should be able to get this dude on the ground and secure most likely a decision victory after the switch of opponents on him. I bet that his game plan is all twisted up, just much like our broadcast here is with the new fight announcement.
The second week they did that too.
It's all good, brother. It is what it is. But Matt Favola, I think he still outvets Terrence McKinney. There's no way on short notice that the kid Terrence McKinney. Let me see what the last fight was. Oh, dude, he just fought, bro. Are you kidding me? Bro, he fought. Okay, dude, 3 days ago. 5 days ago.
3 days ago.
Dude, 5 days ago he fought an LFA. So, dude, he's fresh.
Did he knock the dude out?
His cardio is there. Yeah, you can knock him out, bro. Like, that's crazy.
Did he finish the last fight?
Yes. Yeah, punches round 1.
Okay.
So this fight is iffy. This is a total stay away from any betting standpoint, but I'm going to lean Matt Favola because of the XP, and he just has more experience and really good jiu-jitsu and takedown game that I already know and trust. But if he does not get this fight to the ground, it looks like he could eat punches in bunches or knees in his face. So he better make sure he jumps real fast for that single or double leg and gets him on his ass. So, but with that said, next up on the card we have Pani Kaziad, 14-4. I butchered that terribly. Who's -220 versus Alexis Davis, who's 20-10 at a +175 comeback. Well, firstly, Alexis Davis is an OOOG, man. What's crazy is that she beat up Amanda Nunes back in the day, which made me have some kind of belief in her at some point. Like I said, she's 20-10. She's 36 years old, though, folks. 5'6" with a 68-inch reach. She's coming off of a win versus Sabina Mazo, who has absolutely no takedown game at all, and that's how she won unanimous decision. And then she lost 3 fights in a row. Viviana Rajo, Jennifer Maya, and Caitlin Chukagian, all unanimous decisions, didn't win a damn round, got absolutely dominated. And so she, it's crazy. She's won versus Liz Carmouche. Then she loses to Sarah McMahon. She's all over the place in the sense, but she does have some names on her resume. She is deadly. She is a BJJ black belt, I believe. And so she does have a chance at winning this fight, but at Pannie Kanziad, I think she has just way too much youth on her side. Let me jump into her details. She's 14-5. She is fighting out of Copenhagen, Denmark, and she was born in Iran. She's 29 years old, 5'7", with a 66-inch reach, 3 wins in a row versus Sijara Eubanks, who I was pretty high on coming out of the Ultimate Fighter. I thought she had really good wrestling and ended up not being so, just mentally. But she won versus Sarjara, unanimous decision. And then she beat Beth Corrier, another OG, much like Alexis Davis, unanimous decision. And then Jessica Rose Clark, who had some decent striking, unanimous decision win. So I'm going with Pannie all day. I think that she absolutely is just going to – this is a shining star spot for Pannie to show off versus the aging veteran. I think that she possibly finishes her even, but I most likely a decision win is usually what happens in women's MMA because they just like going long fights. But what do you say about that, T?
I was leaning Davis just because it's women's MMA and she's like, plus 180. So I figure with the experience, it might not be a bad time to take the dog in this one. But I didn't look too much into this fight, to be honest.
No worries.
But next up we'll get into that was the early prelims. We'll get into the prelims. The first fight on the prelims we'll have Movsar Evliov versus Hakeem Dawodu. This is a pretty nice matchup. It's 2 up and coming fighters. Dawodu, he's got the stand up advantage, and Movsar, he's the Khabib prototype. He takes you down and beats you up, but he's definitely no Khabib. To be honest, he's never really justified the price tag that they give him, and the guy likes to take rounds off from the tape that I've seen. So I don't really like that too much, especially coming in minus 265. So I'm leaning Hakeem in this fight. I'm thinking by decision. And that's probably where I'll go with it. It's got a nice price tag, but what you think about it, dude?
No, 1 second. I want to just shout out the OG, the original Periscope streamer himself, Fight Compa, is in the house. So if you guys love MMA streams and sometimes you can't find a stream, make sure you join Haps. Make sure you find Fight Compa, Fight COMPA. Make sure you find him. He's one of the best dudes ever. He always streams really good, positive stuff. We just basically hang out. He drinks. We have a great time watching fights. So shout out to Fight Compa himself. Appreciate all 128 of you live and the 19 awards that you guys have given us. And with that said, like you said, we have Hakeem Dawodu versus Movsar Evliov. Hakeem Dawodu is 12-1. He is 29 years old. He's 5'8", and he has got a 72-inch reach. He's coming out 5 wins in a row, though. He's mean. They call him mean, lean, a doo-doo. Just kidding. So the last five wins were Zuba Tukov, who was a good jiu-jitsu grappler. He won a split decision. Julio Arce, he won a split decision. He won head kick round 3 versus Yoshinori Hori. Sounds like I made that up. Round 3 head kick, and then Kyle Bochniak, who's a veteran he had some decent skills, but not for the upper echelon of the sport. He won a split decision, and then Austin Arnett, he won a unanimous decision. So Hakeem has been around for a while. He's got a good game, good striking. His game plan is going to be he's going to want to keep this up on the floor. Maslov Evliev, he's got a really, really good jiu-jitsu artist takedown game. He's 27 years old, 5'7", 72.5-inch reach, 14-fight win streak, folks. He's fighting out of Russia. So shout out all the Russian fans out there. I'm sure you love your boy over here. But his last fight was versus Nick Lentz. He won a unanimous a split decision versus Nick Lentz, the OG veteran. Then he took on Mike Grundy, who's always mean in game, unanimous decision victory. And then Eureka Enrique Barzola. He won a unanimous decision, who's a really well-rounded fighter. So this is going to be just a fight where I'm going to sit back. I'm going to watch. Oh, sorry. I'm going to watch, hit my mic. And I'm going to that's going to be a treat. I think that there's a path for Hakeem to win here, but I'm going to have to edge with Maslov Evliev. He's a negative 250 favorite, and I think he's got just a little too much takedown game, but I think there is a way for Hakeem to win this fight. So next up on the card, we have Lucky Lauren Murphy, 13-4 at plus 120 right now versus Joanne Calderwood, who's 15-5, the negative 135 comeback. This is going to be our first bet of the night. We debated it back and forth. We're only going to be throwing a half unit down, but we're going to be putting it down on Lauren Murphy. I think that Lauren Murphy, we're going to be doing a half unit on Lauren Murphy by decision at plus 205. Lauren Murphy has proved it time and time again. Even when I've doubted her and hated on her, she just keeps coming through. She's 37 years old, 5'5", reach is 68 inches and 4 wins in a row. Like I said, last one was versus Lilia Shakurova. She won by RNC rear naked choke round 2. Beat Roxanne Modafferi, unanimous decision. Andrea Lee, KGB Lee, was a great striker she beat, and that's when I finally started believing in her a little bit. And then Mara Barella, punches and knees, she beat in the round 3. So, JoJo, we're big fans of her on the show, big fans on the MMAforMoney show. This isn't something that I want to do, JoJo. I love you still, but she's 15-5. She's 35 years old. She's 5'6" with a 65.5-inch reach, and she's coming off 1 win. She's fighting out of Las Vegas, and she was born in Irvine, Scotland. So shout out to all the Scots. She last beat Jessica Ai in a unanimous decision. I can't even give her any credit for that because it's Jessica Ai. So we're moving along. She lost to Jessica Maia, armbar, round 1. It doesn't make me very hyped on you, but Maya does have some good jiu-jitsu. But then she won versus Andrea Lee, split decision. So, they have a mutual opponent, Lauren and Andrea Lee. So I think that this is a fight where Lauren Murphy can make it really ugly, grind her against the cage, take her down, and possibly damage JoJo's face because she shows cuts. So we're going to be putting down, like I said, a half a unit. So nothing much because I do not like betting on women's MMA often, but I'm going to be doing it on the decision prop at plus 205 for Lucky Lauren Murphy to win by decision. So we cash a little bit over a unit with that one. So that'll be the first bet of the night. And I know that Prime Time is probably shitting his pants right now. Next up on the card. Oh, you got that one, T.
Next up on the card, we'll have Eric Anders versus Darren Stewart. And this is a rematch. I think if the fight went down about a month ago, they were fighting. And coming into that matchup, Darren Stewart, I think it was like a minus 200 favorite over Anders. In that fight, I actually had Anders by KO, and Anders was working Stewart, and he had him knocked out, but then he fell down on a knee, and he kneed him in the head while he was on his knees. So he got I think it ended up being a no contest. So that's why they're having a rematch. But coming into this one, you got Darren Stewart. He's now the dog after Anders, had his way with him. But the fight's at 205, and I don't like the line. I wouldn't want to take Anders as the favorite here. I think Darren, he's got a shot in this one, especially at the dog money. But what you thinking, man?
Yeah, like I said, we have Eric Anders, who's 13-5. He's going off at negative 145 on the money line versus Darren Stewart, who's 12-6 at a plus 120 comeback. Like I said, this fight already went on one time, and it's very. It was a great fight. It's going to be very exciting watching these two brutes literally club each other, and that's pretty much what's going to happen. I think that Eric Anders is too much. He's super athletic, former D1 All-American football player out of Alabama. So I just think that he's just got way too much just athleticism for Darren Stewart, and that's why Darren Stewart kind of folded towards the end of it. Eric Anders 13-5. He's 34 years old, 6'1", with a 75-inch reach. He's coming off one loss, who was off Krzysztof Jotko, unanimous decision. Krzysztof Jotko, super well-rounded. Can't really hate on that, but before that, he beat GM3 by split decision. And then Vicenius Morea, who's a black belt, he beat round 1 punches. So, man, the legal knee definitely cost it last time. I don't like the price tag on picking Eric Anders. Darren Stewart is 12-6. Let me get to him. 30 years old, so he's younger. 6 foot with a 74-inch reach. He's coming off a loss himself versus Kevin Holland. It should be a loss and a loss, but the real loss before the Eric Anders no contest was Kevin Holland split decision. So he won a round or two versus a Kevin Holland that people were high on, and then he guillotine choked Maki Patolo round one, and then lost unanimous decision to Bartosz Fabinski, who I'm not high on at all. So I just think that Eric Anders is going to be too much. I don't like the price tag on him at the moment, but I still am going to leave Eric Anders to win this fight. I think he's going to show why that Darren Stewart took the way out last time. So next up on the card, we have Drew Dober, who's 23-10 at a -125 money line versus Brad Riddell, who's 9-1 with a +105 comeback. Well, if you're listening to the MMA for Money show, we are big fans of Drew Dober. If you're a lady, just go Google Drew Dober and tell me that the chiseled chin and the body of the Gotti don't get you hottie. All right. So Drew Dober's 23-10. He's 32 years old, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. He's coming off a loss though to Islam Makhachev though. So that's no haterade. He went 3 rounds with a guy that's an absolute savage. He lost in round 3 to an arm triangle choke and half guard. So I'm not hating on that. Islam would have beat a lot of people. Before that, he beat Alexander Hernandez, punches round 2. Nasrat Haparov, the great Canadian fighter up at Frost Hobbies gym, he beat him round 1. And then Polo Reyes round 1, who was a mean striker with throwing all kinds of deadly stuff. Then he lost around armbar round 2 to Beneil Dariush. So he does have a little bit of submission weakness. This is not the time where he has a opponent that has a submission game. Brad Riddell is an amazing striker, 9-1, 29 years old. He's 5'7", 71.3 inch reach. I've never seen the 3. So funny. Six wins in a row. He's fighting out of Phuket, Thailand, and he's born from New Zealand. Born in New Zealand. Sorry, sounded terrible. His last fight, he won a unanimous decision versus Alex De Silva. And then he won a split decision versus Magomed Mustafa, split decision. And then Jamin Malarkey, he won a unanimous decision before that one. I like Brad Riddell's striking game a lot. I'm a real big fan of it. It's super diverse, and I think that he has a really good game, but his ground game is going to be in question. He's facing a guy and a veteran, and Drew Dober, who's been in there with a savage like Islam and taking out other guys. And so I have such a hard time picking against Drew Dober because he's the more experienced. So I have to lean with my rule of the more experienced fighter because Drew Dober is not washed up. I've got to lean that Drew Dober is going to win here. What do you say about that one, T?
Yeah, this looks like it's gonna be a good matchup, man. It's a pretty even matchup too. I think the fight's gonna end up being a war. And I think Dober's got the chin and the power advantage over Brad here. So I think they're gonna slug it out. And because he's got that chin and power advantage, I'm going Dober here. I think he might knock him out too. But it's gonna be a damn good fight though, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to Peter Bittner from the Haps team. I appreciate you being here, brother. Always supporting the show. Vanita Braylon, appreciate you jumping in the chat and being here as well. And all you guys that are tuning in the 137 you live and the 21 awards that you guys have given us. I greatly appreciate all you guys. But with that said, we're going to move on to the main card of the UFC 263, Adesanya vs. Vettori 2. The first fight of the night is going to be awesome to watch. We got Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, 13-4, plus 230 on the underdog side versus Jamal Hill, 7-0, never takes a defeat at a -290 cool money line. And so he's obviously favored, Jamal Hill. His striking is sick. His athleticism is amazing. Paul Craig, though, he's 14-4-1. They call him the Bear Jew, 33 years old, 6'3", 76-inch reach. He's got 3 wins in a row. He's fighting out of Scotland, born in Scotland. So shout out to the Scots once again, representing on the card. He last fought and tapped Mauricio Shogun Hua. Won by tapped to strikes in round 2, Mauricio did. I couldn't even believe it. It was crazy. And then Antukulov, he beat Triangle Choke round 1. Then a draw, split decision, Hugan before the one he beat him. So His jiu-jitsu, sick. No question about that. Jamal Hill, striking, sick. Someone is getting tapped or napped. I'm going with Jamal Hill to sleep freaking the Bear Jew. Jamal Hill is 30 years old, 6'4", with 79-inch reach and 9 wins in a row. Last beats Oven St. Preux by punches, standing TKO round 2. No contest before that, and then Darko Stostic, who was we were pretty high on coming out of he was Mirko Krokop's protege, and so he beat Darko Krokop unanimous decision. So I just like Jamal Hill a lot. I think that he's going to have enough game here to silence the Bear Jew and to send him into hello operator. What's your thoughts on that, T?
Yeah, man. Craig's stand up, it's like it's whatever to me. And he spends a ton of time backing up. So I mean, it's easy to see the routes to victory in this fight. I mean, Hill's gonna want to stand up and clean him, and I think that's probably what's gonna end up happening here. Craig, he might be able to submit him, but I don't think he's gonna get him, man. Hill's a good athlete, and I think he'll do what he has to do and eventually catch Craig and put him out. But yeah, next up on the card, we got another great fight. It's gonna be who is it? Oh, yeah, I was going to say Leon. It's Damian Maia versus Belal Muhammad. I got to go with Muhammad here. He's tough and he's been on a roll. Leon was beating him last fight before that nasty eye poke, and I think he's hungry and he's ready to prove something like always. I'm not going to bet the fight because of price tag. And Maya's a vet. He's always got a chance to win. But, yeah, I'm thinking Muhammad's got it. But what you think about the fight, bro?
Yeah, this is gonna be a really good fight. Damian Maia, the Jiu-Jitsu legend, 28-10 at a plus 190 underdog spot versus Belal Muhammad. Remember the name Muhammad, 18-3, who's at negative 240, come back as the favorite. I mean, I love Damian Maia so much that I named my firstborn son after Damian Maia. Literally, same spelling, same everything, because he's just such a good jiu-jitsu practitioner and role model. I love his BJJ. I have a problem with him fighting at this age. Belal Muhammad is no effing joke, man. And so I don't like the fight for Damian. I love you, Damian. 28-10. Like I said, 43 years old, guys. 6'1", 72-inch reach. He's coming off a loss to Gilbert Burns, who's a sick jiu-jitsu black belt and heavy-handed. He lost in round 1. And before that, he rear naked choked Ben Askren, who's a world class wrestler. No problem. Round 3, Anthony Rocco Martin decision. Lyman Good rear naked choke round 1, and then he went to unanimous decision with Kamar Usman. So Damian's been in there with the best of them. I just don't think his striking isn't there and his takedown game isn't there to get the jiu-jitsu there. But if he gets the back of Belal Muhammad, Belal is screwed. There's levels to the jiu-jitsu game, and it's just Damian Maia is world class. Belal Muhammad, though, is 18-3, like I said, 32 years old, 5'11", with a 71-inch reach. His current win streak is 4. His last fight, he got poked in the eye by Leon Edwards, and there was no contest. And then before that, Diego Lima, not the good Lima brother. He won unanimous decision, so I give him no credit there. And then he beat Lyman Good, unanimous decision, which I'm not too high on either. So I love you, Belal. Man, bro, and I love Damian, but like both these guys, like Damian could easily win by submission, or Belal could win by TKO KO. So with that said, if you like any of these fighters, I would pick Damian by submission prop or Belal Muhammad TKO KO, because those are the two most likely options, in my opinion, that are going to happen. I have to go with my boy Damian Maia, the OG. If he takes the back of Belal Muhammad, I know he's gonna do it. I don't want you guys betting on this because I said that. I do not. But his submission is there. It's a possible thing. If he can get him down one time in one round, especially in the early goings when they're not sweaty, I think that Damian Maia could end up getting a sub here. But it's going to be really, really hairy.
This might be the last time we watch Maia, bro.
Sadly, man, and then they're either feeding him or helping him, and we're gonna find out, what's going on. But to the legend, Damian Maya, appreciate you and your career, and hopefully we see more of you. But if this is your last fight in the octagon, it's been a blessing, and thank you for the gift of my son's name. And with that said, the next up on the card we have Leon Rocky Edwards, 18-3, -500 comeback versus Nate Diaz, 21-12, +350 comeback for the Stockton-born kid. Nate Diaz is being disrespected like you guys cannot believe. But Leon Edwards is the real deal when it comes to all around mixed martial arts. He's 18-3, 29 years old, 29 baby years old. This kid's this good. 6'2", 74-inch reach, 8 wins in a row. He's fighting out of England, born out of Kingston, Jamaica. So shout out to the Jamaicans and all the English crowd. So his last fight, like I said, it was no contest versus Bilal Muhammad, which they're both on the same card. Kind of crazy. Makes sense timing wise. So last fight he won was versus Rafael dos Anjos, who's an absolute savage. RDA, we all know and love, former champion. He won a unanimous decision quite easily. Gunnar Nelson, jiu-jitsu stud himself, he won a split decision there. Donald Cerrone won a decision versus Peter Sabata, Brian Barberina. So the list goes on. Now, Nate Diaz, as much as I love the Diaz, I love me some Diaz brothers. That's why this fight is worth watching the whole card, no matter what. Like I said, I wish that it wasn't so bad of a matchup for my boy Nate. But Nate's been here before. He's been odds stacked against him when he fought McGregor the first time, and he cashed that time. Nate Diaz is 36 years old. He's 6 foot, 76-inch reach, and he's coming off a loss, like I said, fighting out of Stockton, California. Born and raised in Stockton, California. 209, baby. Now, last fight, he lost to George Masvidal, cut stoppage, round 3. Before that, round 3 started, I believe. Now, then before that, he won Anthony Pettis, unanimous decision. Looked really good there, but that Pettis was kind of falling out there. Then he lost to Connor, and then he won to Connor. Nate's been spotty all across the board. He hasn't fought since 2019, and we're in 2021. But Nate's cardio is always there. He's always cycling, doing triathlons with his brother, Nick Diaz. They're always training. I just don't think they're ready for the punches and bunches that Leon Rocky Edwards is going to be throwing at him. This guy, he's got mean kicks. He's got great strikes. If he keep his hands closed and keep a closed fist and not get any points taken from him, he can win this fight and quite easily. That's why you're seeing the -500. I think that Leon Rocky Edwards destroys my boy Nate Diaz, and I'm sorry, Nate. Please don't hurt me. Go T.
Yeah, I mean, odds makers pretty much just seem to be forcing you to bet Nate here. He's, plus 375. Leon has looked really good lately. He's quick, and I mean, he's gonna be too much for Nate to handle. He's just too fast. I don't see how Nate could beat him unless Leon just empties the gas tank, which he's not gonna do. I mean, the dude, he's a conditioned athlete too, so it's going to be entertaining, but yeah, I don't see how he's going to win, and it's not really bettable. So I'll just end up watching this one and hope it's a good fight. If Nate wins, that'd be pretty cool, but we'll see how it goes. But next up on the card, we got a title match. It's Davison Figueiredo, I can't say his name, versus Brandon Moreno, and this is going to be an awesome fight too. The last match. Let me pull up the video. Last match, Fig only lost because of a foul. He got a point deduction, so he ended up and the fight ended up being a draw. So I can't go against Fig here. Moreno's, he's tough and he's durable, so it'll be an interesting fight. I'm leaning Fig. He's just a monster, and he fights like a piranha that smells blood. And Moreno, he warrants respect, but I just can't place a bet on him. I gotta go Fig here. What you thinking about it, dude?
Yeah, Davison Figueiredo, 20-1 at a -250 comeback at the time of writing this at the money line. So he's the favorite versus Brandon Moreno, who's 18-5 at the +200 comeback. Well, the assassin baby Brandon Moreno is a lot of fun. He's got a ton of heart. He's the Mexican born, so I got some Mexican blood in me. So shout out to all the Mexicanos over there that are watching the show and all of his fans. 18-5-2 is the Assassin baby. He's 27, 5'7", and 70-inch reach. He's got on a 4-fight win streak. He's fighting out of Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. So last fight that he won, it was a draw, like you said, versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Because of the point deduction, it made it a little bit closer. Before that, he was just on a killing spree, just dominating Brandon Royval, Jussi Formiga, Kai Kara France, Mikhail Perez. And so, but it's Deiveson Figueiredo. He is amazing, bro. He's a savage. Like, he literally, like, he's the type of dude that if back in the day, he might eat you after he beat you up. Like, he's that crazy. So 21-1. He's 33 years old, 5'5", and a 68-inch reach and 5-fight win streak. He's fighting out of Brazil, born in Brazil. I think that the Deiveson is just a savage, man. I like I said, his last fight that he won was versus Alex Perez, guillotine choke round 1. Joseph Benavidez, who we love, rear naked choke round 1. Joseph Benavidez again round 2. Tim Elliott round 1, the great wrestler scrambler. Alexandria Pantoja unanimous decision, who's a great BJJ black belt. So I mean, I got to go with Deiveson Figueiredo. I think that he just is too much. The odds are a little rough for against Brandon Moreno. As close as the last fight was, Brandon Moreno is younger, and so I think that they're kind of sleeping on him a little bit. So, we'll see. It's I believe it's 6 years younger he is, so he could possibly have a cardio advantage. But I'm going to be going with Deiveson Figueiredo to win that fight versus Brandon Moreno. Then the last fight of the card, the main event of the evening, Israel Stylebender Adesanya, 20-1 at the -250 comeback at the time of writing this versus Marvin, the Italian Dream Vettori, 17-4 at the +200 underdog spot. Where do we start? Israel Adesanya is absolutely amazing. I've been high on him ever since. I've said it that he's the best 185-pound striker the UFC has ever seen, the most diverse, and I'm still standing with it. I think that Israel Adesanya is 20-1. He's 31 years old, 6'4", with an 80-inch reach. He got one loss streak. He's fighting out of New Zealand, but he's born in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. He trains out of City Kickboxing with all the great New Zealanders over there. His last loss was versus the 205-pound champ. So it's not even really a count to the loss in the 185-pound division because he has not lost there. So he went up and stepped up and had some big cojones and fought Jan Blachowicz, and it came up short. And Jan just showed what a savage he was. But Israel Adesanya in the 185-pound division is the king of this division. Silenced Paulo Costa and took his manhood. Yoel Romero, just unanimous decision. Robert Whittaker silenced them round 2. Kelvin Gastelum, Anderson Silva, Derek Brunson, Brad Tavares, Marvin Vettori. He has just gone on a run and a muck before he got to Jan Blachowicz at the 205, and he had the Conas to step up. There's nothing that's gonna stop me from betting the Israel Adesanya. He's facing like some Marvin Vettori. He's 27 years old. He's on a 5-fight win streak. 6 foot 74-inch reach, fighting out of Italy, born in Italy. So shout out to all the Italians, especially Jason Torello himself. His last fight, he won Kevin Holland, Jack Hermanson, Carl Roberson, Andrew Sanchez, Cesar Ferreira. But he lost to my boy Adesanya before that. And he wasn't close. Adesanya won round 1, round 2 of a 3-round fight quite easily. And Israel didn't even look himself that night. I just think that he's going to absolutely style on him. To call him a style bender for a reason. I'm going to be putting down the rare max bet on Israel Adesanya. Oh, no, sorry. Scratch that. 2.5 units on Izzy to beat Marvin Vettori and just to stay the king of the 185-pound division and just keep showing what the striking's all about. What do you think about that, T?
Yeah, man. Vettori, he's got a route to victory over Izzy, but he can't get it done. He can't do what John did. He's not big enough. And I mean, they've already fought, and the fact that they fought really, really helps Izzy out, in my opinion, because Izzy's fight IQ, is probably triple Vittori's, if I had to guess. So, Iggy just lost too, so he's gonna have chip on his shoulder, and I think he's gonna want to finish Vettori in this one, just because I think he's really gonna want to put him down, and the way Vittori's talking off the last one, saying that he thinks he won and yada yada yada, it was a split decision. Yeah, I think Izzy's gonna handle his business and get the KO here. So.
Nice. Yeah. So with that said, that's the UFC 263 going off this weekend on Saturday. We appreciate all 162 of you live in the 23 awards. I know that I jumped through my sponsors earlier, Hunty. Can we run through those real fast?
Yeah, I still got them up.
Okay, so the first sponsor of the MMA for Money show I'd like to thank, we got is Melon Brand Hats. The hat that I'm wearing, melin.com, Melon Brand Hats. It's my boy Brian McDonald. He's one of the co-founders. He dreamed in high school of having a dope luxury line of hats with intricate patterns and dope, just different materials. And sure as shit, he came to fruition, sponsors golfers and champions like Phil Mickelson, Michael Chandler, at the show over here. So shout out to Melon Brand Hats. Go get yourself a dope hat for the summer. They have some dope waterproof ones that are really cool called the Hydro. So make sure you go check them out. Second up is Fokai Stuff, Fokai stuff.com. The Guamilian gear, my boys from Guam. So shout out to all the Guamilians. I appreciate you and all the gear over there. They have dope shirts, dope socks, dope hand wraps. I mean, the jackets. I used to drive literally 2 hours from Simi Valley, California down to San Diego, Undisputed, to my brother's gym, just to the Undisputed shop that Tone Anderson was running, just to get gear. So this is how much I love Fokai. Even when I sometimes got stuff free, I still went and supported it. And I still, to this day, love Fokai. So Fokai stuff.com. Make sure you guys go get yourself some gear and some more support all the Guamilian families over there that depend on it. And last but not least is my sponsor from Amsterdam, Spliff Seeds, SPLIFF Seeds. If you go and look at their website and look up Lemon Cream Kush Female, my plant is sponsored there, and they give me genetics each year to grow. So make sure you guys, if you like growing MJ, go over to their site, get yourself some sick genetics for the growing season while the sun is shining. And I just want to say I just appreciate all you guys here live with us and every single person that's tuning in. Shout out to my boy Matt McBride, childhood friend who we played Pee-wee football with, baseball. Dude has supported me my whole life. So I love you, brother, over there in Huntington Beach. So I appreciate 166 of you live, the 24 awards that have gone, that you guys have given us, and appreciate your time listening to the MMA for Money show. With that said, go appreciate your families. And don't forget to subscribe to us on your platform of choice: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, RSS feeds, and Haps. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube for both full-length shows as well as smaller tidbits to get you through the week. Like, comment, and share to spread the word. And with that, let's roll.